video is about change, and it's a bit of a follow-on from the New Year's resolution tips that we did last time. So if you haven't seen it already, check that out. I'll put a link on. And yeah, so it's a follow-on from the New Year's resolutions. How are they going, by the way? A week on. And we're going to talk about change, what it is, how it feels to change, what other things are changing, what change means to you, and how we can be okay with change, because the worst thing we can do is resist it when it happens all the time to everything. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to give you some more tips to sort of add on to the New Year's resolution stuff, and maybe add a little poem in and stuff. So it's a lot of content. Stay tuned. But for those of you who don't know me, my name's Carrie, and welcome to my channel at Mind and Body Balance. I hope this brings some insight to you on your journey, on your life's journey, on your life's purpose, and allows you to live a more mindful life. So let's get started. Like I said, lots of content. So I have got a few notes. I'll be reading from the notes, but then we'll just see where it goes. Okay. So the first thing to talk about then is, what changes, what is change and what changes. So 3 questions. What changes? What stays the same? And what does change mean to you? So let's think about this. What changes? Well, might be easier to say what doesn't change. Because when we think about what changes, absolutely everything changes in our world. So we've got things like the environment. The environment changes, the temperature, the seasons, the flowers. They're all changing. Animals, people, they change. We're born babies, we go into adolescence, we have all them hormones. So hormones make us change, have us change and bring about change. And then we go into adulthood, and then as a woman, when we come towards the older part of our lives, we actually call it the change, don't we? And we have the hormones affecting ourselves there. So there's change in ourselves, there's change in our personality. We're not the same person we were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, yesterday, this morning. We change on a constant basis, and the hormones can have something to do with that. Cells are renewing all the time, so it's every 7 years that our cells change. So we're a completely different person biologically as well, so change is inevitable, isn't it? Things like corporations, law, society, they're changing all the time. We can see over decades of the way things were, all the sort of sexism, racism and everything and all that kind of stuff, and maybe to some extent we needed that to be able to change. We're going through lots of change in our laws and societies right now, in 2020, going through some massive shifts here that sometimes we might feel it's out of our control, and we'll get a little bit of resistance to that. The people in power have control over us, and we might feel that. But as with all the racism, sexism and all that stuff, you can see how maybe we might have needed that to get us to where we are now. So maybe what we're in now is going to get us to a better place. When we're in fear of change and resistance, we can't really see what might be to come. All we can think about is what we might lose. We might lose that comfort of not changing. We might lose that comfort of knowing what we know and being in a routine and having things the same way. So when things change, we lose that. We lose that comfort, and we're scared and we're in fear because we don't know what's going to come. But what if there's something that's going to come that's better than what we had? Isn't that a lovely concept to have? Let's think about that. Yeah. So, sometimes the unknown, as scary as it is, might be for the better. So we've got environment, we've got animals, we've got people, we've got corporations, law, society, we've got matter and energy. We're all talking about quantum physics now, and it's a big thing, big buzzword at the minute. Matter changes. You leave a piece of wood on the ground, go back 5-10 years later, it'll be a different kind of piece of wood. Matter changes. It might be a bit slow, but it changes depending on the matter. And energy changes. You just feel a vibration in yourself. You could wake up with, you've woken up on the wrong side of the bed, and that's your energy as you wake up. Now it's your choice. This is where mindfulness comes in. It's your choice whether you stay in that energy, or your choice whether you're mindful of it and move out of it and come into something else and be a different vibration, a different sort of energy. So what changes? We've answered that. What stays the same? We've answered that. Nothing. Please comment. What does stay the same? There is something that someone said. Can't remember who said it now. Oh yeah, it was it was the Frozen 2 movie, and Olaf said, "I've found something that doesn't change: love." So we could argue that, or we could agree with it. It doesn't matter, but it just gets you thinking about it. Even if we've missed somebody, someone's passed, we still have a love for them. Does that love change? Does any love change? Can it get stronger? Can it get weaker? But it's love nonetheless. So it's worth thinking about. But okay, so let's say love is the only thing that doesn't change. Pretty much everything else does change, I would say. So what does change mean to you? What does change mean to you? Have a think about it. For me, it means impermanence, and it means everything changes. The quote that comes to mind is, "This too shall pass." Okay. Now we can talk about anything in that frame of mind. Go back to that whole resistance to things. So whether you're liking something in the moment, whether you're not liking something in the moment, just know that this too shall pass, but not in a pessimistic way. If it's something good, or not in a, you're grasping at it. If it's something bad that you're going through, just know that this too shall pass. Okay, and you know that it's going to change. Okay, so that's about what changes, what stays the same, what change means to you. Okay. Now I've just got a few little questions that I want you to just think about. If you close your eyes. And just think about, what changes are you going through now? In your life right now, what are you going through? And how are you reacting to them? Can you feel that in your body? And the way you're reacting to these changes, is it beneficial in any way? The way you're reacting to these changes, is it in any way beneficial to you and those around you? And this isn't to chastise you in any way if you feel that no, it's not a opportunity here to beat yourself up. It's an opportunity to realise how you're reacting to changes in your life, and could you respond in a different way that is more beneficial to you and those around you. If you just had the know-how and the tools and the pause and the ability to respond rather than react. Okay, so if you've got your eyes closed, you can open them now. So just a little exercise there, and I hope it opened something there for you to look in a little bit closer to you and yourself and your situation. So what I've done, I've tried to show this in a bit of a diagram. I'll see if I can put it to the video camera. Basically, a trance circle, the cycle that we do when we're in a trance, when we don't really do what we've just done there in that little exercise of just listening and paying attention, and then what we do when we're more mindful, ideally. And we'll flit into both. We're not gurus. We're not going to stay in the mindfulness all the time, although that would be nice and great if you can and do that. It's just not to beat yourself up if you do that all the time, if it doesn't happen, you know. Okay, so the trance cycle. We start with a fear of the unknown and change, the fear of change. Okay, talked a little bit about that at the beginning. Then the next cycle is to cling to what we know or is familiar. Then we have a resistance to change, therefore we suffer. So change is happening, whether it's on our terms or not, we resist it. And because we're resisting, we suffer somehow in our body, in our actions, in our thoughts, in our emotions. Not in that order probably, but thoughts, emotions, actions, behaviour, character, how we relate to others, because of that resistance. Because something isn't working out the way we want, that's an expectation of the way a change wants to be, or the expectation that you don't want change to happen. Yeah, so I'll do a little bit more on expectation as well, because that's a biggie. And then we react out of fear. Okay, so we react out of fear. We don't know what else to do because it's out of our comfort zone. I want to go back into that, even if the change is to get healthy, move more, but actually it's more comfortable if I don't, or I'd rather stay in my pain. It sounds contradictory. I'd rather stay in my pain, in my suffering, physically, emotionally, whatever. I'd rather stay in that than do something I don't know. That's not part of me. It's not my routine. It sounds contradictory, doesn't it? I'd rather stay in my pain, in my comfort zone, than get out of that, be open to the unknown. To be open to the other side of fear might be something more amazing. It might be a painless life. And we could find another security blanket and it might be even better. Yeah, so that's the cycle. So we cling to what we know is familiar. We have resistance to change, therefore suffering. And we react out of fear and the fear of the unknown, of change. And then the mindfulness cycle, so how we can do the opposite, basically. So aware of impermanence and change. That's the first thing, isn't it? Be aware of it. Okay, if we live tunnel visioned, we're not aware of this change going on, we can't sit with it and be with it. That's the next thing. So let it go. As the seasons change, just let it go. Let the leaves fall, let the snow fall on the ground, let the buds bloom, or the buds birth and then bloom in summer. You know, you get what I'm saying. Let it go, like your seasons, cyclical, you know, let change happen. So be aware of it, let it go, and be intimate with it. Allow it to be there. Have acceptance and peace. Have acceptance about it, allow it, and therefore you'll have peace and joy because you won't be in suffering. When you accept, not resign to, but when you accept what is this change, whether it's something you're going to do or something that's happened that's out of your control, when we accept it, we can allow it, sit with it, and it's all right. Even if it feels uncomfortable inside, it's still okay. by allowing, we feel more at peace, more calm, than fighting it and resisting it. And I don't like it. I don't want it to be that way. Can you see the difference? Fighting. I don't want this. I don't want this. You're going to suffer. As opposed to, okay, this change is happening. I'm about to make this change. It's going to be uncomfortable. Or this change has happened to me. It is uncomfortable. But I accept it. And I'll think of ways to work around it and be with it. And it feels more open, more free. And the next thing in the cycle is you can then respond. You're not reacting. You can respond with kindness to this, whatever's going on. You can respond to kindness to this. You can respond to kindness to what you're about to do and know that it's hard and difficult. These New Year's resolutions, this is why we don't keep them. Go back into our comfort zone. So realise and understand and appreciate that it's hard, it's difficult, we're going into the unknown, there's going to be fear, it's going to be discomfort. But let's respond and give it kindness. And likewise to others. If others make change, your boss makes changes in your workplace, you don't like them, or you've seen them before, it's not worked before, why are they doing it again? Whatever it is, your work colleague is done something you don't like, it's changed something you don't like, whatever it is, just understand that that's out of your control. There's nothing you can do, and by resisting it, you're the one suffering. So accept it with a kind heart and feel what it's like to feel that change and that resistance. The resistance itself to the change, feel that and allow it. And then you can respond. So I'll see if I can show you these little pictures here. Okay. Oh, it's back to front, but you get the gist. So that's the trance cycle, and that's the mindfulness cycle. Okay. Grand. Not much more left. Just a few things. So I'm just going to read a few little memes that I came across when it came to change, and then I'm going to go into a table that I did for myself when it came to my New Year's resolutions. All right, so everything changes, nothing remains without change. Okay. That one, I don't have a name for that one, but this one is by Thich Nhat Hanh. And it is not impermanence that makes us suffer. What makes us suffer is wanting things to be permanent when they are not. It is not impermanence that makes us suffer. What makes us suffer is wanting things to be permanent when they are not. Oh, there is a quote. I love this quote. I have written it down. This quote is from, well, I heard it from Andy Puddicombe, who's the founder of Headspace. But I think it was his tradition when he was a Buddhist that he heard that from. So I think it was Geshe Kelsang Gyatso, who is the tradition that I follow, the Kadampa lineage. Anyway, whoever said it, it was good. And it is, I accept wholeheartedly whatever arises, having given up the idea that things should be other than what they are. I accept wholeheartedly whatever arises, having given up the idea that things should be other than what they are. Okay, so it sounds a bit funny I'm doing about acceptance and things when it comes to change. But it is accepting what is within that change. Yeah. So some good little memes there. There's lots out there. Take a look. Then I've got this table, okay? So if you get a pen and paper, pause the video, get a pen and paper. 3 columns with 3 things in each column. Okay, so the first column, at the top of the column, what do I want to let go of? Second column at the top, what do I want to keep? That's important. When we come to doing New Year's resolutions, it's like, oh, I've got to change everything. I've got to change my whole life, my whole world. And no, you are doing something right. You are doing something right. Find it and feel it and just give yourself a pat on the back. You are doing some good things. Keep them. Don't get rid of everything. Don't have to be a completely different person if that's not what you want. Hold on to those good things. So what do I want to let go of? What do I want to keep? Third column at the top, what do I want to bring in? And I thought that terminology of bringing in was better than what do I want? What do I want to get? What do I want to bring in? What do I want to attract? Back to that manifestation buzzword. What do I want to attract in my life? Okay, so just list whatever comes, have a few minutes, go into yourself, close your eyes, ask that question, see what comes up for you. And then with each column, you're going to write, what will this feel like? And what will this look like? Okay. So in the first column, you're going to have, what do I want to let go of? What will this feel like? What will this look like? Second column, what do I want to keep? What will this feel like? What will this look like? Third column, what do I want to bring in? What will this feel like? What will this look like? And I mentioned this briefly on that other video about feel. It's really important to feel what it'd be like, because that's what's going to pull you. That's what's going to help you find your why, isn't it? Your feeling to it, your attachment to it, your feeling to it. So for example, you might want to let go of weight, some excess weight. That might be something for you. What will it feel like? So like I said in that video before, when it comes to weight, maybe not look about the superficial things too much anymore, because has that worked for you in the past? I want to get into a size X jeans. Has that worked in the past? Because you don't really feel that, because you could get into those size X jeans and then want the next size down. Yeah. What will it feel like to lose excess weight? So you could have more energy. What would that feel like, to have more energy? To be able to play with your kids better and your grandkids better? And what will it look like? So if you were an observer looking at yourself, living that, letting go of that stuff, stress, anxiety, attachments, what would your life look like if you were looking at it? If you were the observer of your life, having had those things let go, what would it look like? What would you see? Would you see yourself being more present? And what actions would you be doing when that's letting go? Would you be doing more meditation? And the same thing for each column. So what do I want to keep? You might have something that really works for you. So it might be the meditation. You want to keep that. That's a high priority, and keep going with that. What will it feel like? Well, I have more connection to myself and others when I meditate. I'm a better person. I feel a better person. It feels more love, more gratitude. What will it look like? Will it look like me meditating X amount of time for X amount of days, every day, every other day, whatever I can do? And it will feel like more calm, and it'll look more peaceful. I'll look like a more peaceful person. What do I want to bring in? Whatever that is. Okay, so whatever that is. Health, abundance, happiness. What do I want more of? What do I want to bring more in? What do I want more of, or what do I want to bring in? What does that feel like? What would that feel like? Something that you haven't got already, but really actually want to bring in. or have more of, what would that feel like? Really tune into that. And what would that look like? Would you be smiling more? Would you be at ease more? Would you be following your passion? What would that look like? All right, so that's just something to give you a little bit more on. And I'm just going to read a couple more things and we're finished, okay? So there's a guy on YouTube, check him out. Well, you never actually see him. It's called Chiron, Kyron, and he's a channeler. And he, at the time I wrote this for a retreat, I came across this video on change. I think it was called, The Golden Gift it was. So go and check that out. But he's talking about change. I was listening to this on the morning and I was going to deliver it, so I quickly scribbled down some notes. So I'm just going to read it. You can close your eyes if you want to, but it might be things that might bring up some stuff for you, so you can think about, don't have to think about why you feel like that, but you can just think, oh, that's brought something up. So expect change. Nothing will go back to the way it was. For example, health. Not going to correct it. You might not solve it and it'll be different. It's not going to return to the way it was. So the familiar is comfortable. Find the new comfortable. Unsettled. It's like you're waiting for something to drop. It feels uncomfortable, not centered or different. What if this is the new normal? Can you exist in an unsettled state and make it a settled state? Yes. Yes, we can. It's difficult. What if unsettled is the new norm? Not old energy. Not old energy. We're not going back there. We're not going back there. There's massive shifts. What if we're not old energy and we're always ready to move to the next thing? And what if that's okay? What if we're not anchored in the rock and we're let loose to be free with whatever comes at us? And what if by doing this we can grow and develop and change and be at ease and be calm and contented and peaceful? And how do those words feel? So that was from Chiron. You can keep your eyes closed for a moment if you want to. Well, I just finished with a very short poem by Miss Moem. Change. There's been an undeniable truth since before we even existed. Nothing ever stays the same. Nothing can be resisted. And you can open your eyes if you've got them closed. Well, I hope that's given you a little bit more to go on from the New Year's resolution tips video. I will put a link on. And not just New Year, a whole self-development, a whole growth, a whole expansion in who you are, a whole find your life purpose, all that good stuff, where if we're not mindful, life can just pass us along and we're just taken along with it, and that's resignation. That's different to accepting life. That's resignation. That's not doing anything. That's just going along with it. That's not being with it and looking at change. These things have happened. What can I do to change because something's happened? and I want to move. You know, it's my choice to move. And it's your choice if you just want to sit there and roll with it. Life is about choices. We do have choices. I'm just bringing you some examples of being mindful in it. Be mindful in your life. Make the choices you want to make and live the life you want. Yeah, sound good? All right, hope you like that. Take care. We'll see you soon. Much love. Bye.